是确诊的吧？
没有啊，我现在没有，但是之前确诊过，但是那是很久以前的事情，现在只是比较敏感一点点而已。
哦，难道是跟政治一样敏感吗？
短太硬喽。不过政治可是真的很敏感的。
哎，但是政治的目的呢，就是在解决不同族群间的冲突，取得不同族群的双赢。像是联合国的成立宗旨之一，就可以借回联合国宪章第1章第12条解释。让我来翻。借人第1条所述，其宗旨涵盖维持国际和平及安全，实现人民平等权利及自决原则，以及解决经济、社会、文化及人类福利性质之国际问题，并强调透过国际合作达成以上目的。谢谢。那你们想知道更多关于模拟的？如果你想知道更多关于模拟联合国的资讯，
请点击下方这个链接。
Imagine you're now dressed formally, representing a nation's people. You approach the podium of the United Nations General Assembly, delivering speeches to elaborate on how we can solve international issues. Sounds cool, right? That is what we do in MUN, Model United Nations. So who here know what MUN is? Could you please raise your hand? Well, it's quite normal that a lot of us do not know about it, since that it is an academic activity that has just emerged in Taiwan in recent years. Model United Nations is often abbreviated as MUN, M-U-N. And in Chinese, it's called 模拟联合国. Among conferences, students act as representatives of nations and negotiate in a certain committee. Through MUN, students get to enhance a variety of abilities, including English speaking, English proficiency, research, and also global citizenship. So what draws me to my thesis are three main motivations. First of all, MUN. As a MUNer that has attended more than 10 conferences, I've been devoting myself to the MUN community. Second, clubs. As all of you know, in HSNU we have diverse club choices. Among these clubs, I chose HSNU MUN as my club, and I am currently serving as the chief academics. Third, students. The identity as a student reminds me of how greatly the 108 curriculum guidelines and the academic portfolios is going to influence us in our university applications. With all these motivations altogether, it draws me to my topic. So, to fulfill my motivations, there are three main purposes of my thesis. First of all, to recognize why students know MUN. Second, to clarify why students join the MUN club and participate in MUN conferences. And most importantly, to understand the bilateral influence between MUN and academic portfolios. After observing these statements, I come up with the research method, which my thesis is a quantitative one. Therefore, a survey was conducted to the students that are relevant to MUN activities and clubs. Among all my respondents, all of them know MUN, with nearly 90% knowing MUN because of promotion of high school clubs. So, before doing my survey, I have been doing literature review, and there are three main layers. First of all is the importance of clubs. So why is the choice of clubs so important to students? As a press release by the Joint Board of College Recruitment Commission has stated, that nearly 2,000 departments claim that club activities are the most emphasized among their elements that are considered in university application. So this it can be significantly seen on how the choice of clubs is going to be highly relevant to how we perform in our university applications. Second of all is the change in strategy. A report was done towards the representative private senior high school in Taiwan. And among these high schools, it was seen that these high schools are determined to deliver the global citizenship to their students and equip them with internationality. What draws my attention is the Hmong course held by Mingdao High School. Mingdao High School in Taichung held regular Hmong courses in order to fulfill the purposes and competencies that were mentioned in the curriculum guidelines. And the most important is the relations between one and the academic portfolios. In MUN, we emphasize its educational values and also highlights how it can benefit students in our performances comprehensively. Meanwhile, in the curriculum guidelines, there are several core competencies, and two of them are highly related to the characteristics of MUN, which are respectively spontaneity and social participation. After doing the literature review, I've published my survey towards the students that are relevant to MUN, and it draws me to my analysis on the results. So my survey can be divided into three sections. The first section is about why general students know MUN and how they think about it. The second session, I try to understand why students choose to join MUN clubs and what they are expected to achieve in these clubs. And lastly, I target the students that have been participating in formal MUN conferences and see how they think about it. So after collecting the data, it draws me to three main conclusions. First of all is the recognition of MUN. So among all my respondents, everyone knows MUN, and nearly 90% of them know MUN because of the promotion of high school clubs. It can be seen how the importance and the role of high school clubs has accomplished MUN in the MUN society in Taiwan. Among these respondents, 3.9 out of 5 is how much they rated that they think MUN can benefit these students in their first impression on the activity. Moving on are the members of MUN clubs. Among all the respondents, 93 of them are MUN club members. And these members tend to join the club because of two main reasons. First of all is personal interest. Second is the characteristics of the club. They believe that MUN clubs can benefit them through enhancing their English ability and global vision. Surprisingly, academic portfolios is not the major concern of these students. Among these students, 3.8 out of 5 is how much they believe the experience in clubs can benefit them in their academic portfolios. Meanwhile, nearly 90% of them are likely to include these club experiences into their academic portfolios. Furthermore, I've identified the participants that were participating in formal MUN conferences. Among all these club members, 50 of them have participated in at least one MUN conference. These conference participants, similar to why they joined the club, chose personal interest and the characteristics of the activity itself as the highlights. And among these participants, 3.9 out of 5 is how much they believe that these conferences can benefit them in their academic portfolios. Meanwhile, there is a slight increase on the proportion of how much they are willing to include these conference experiences into their academic portfolios. So with these analysis done, it draws me to my conclusion. After conducting the literature review and the survey, I found out the bilateral influence between MUN and the curriculum guidelines. As you can see, MUN academic portfolios do not necessarily impose an impact on MUN. The main concern and reason of why students choose to join MUN clubs and participate in formal conference is because of their personal interest and the characteristics of the club itself. However, it can be seen in the other way. which MUN does have a benefit on academic portfolios. Among all these respondents, many of them claim that they are likely to include it into academic portfolios, and they have given a high score on how much they believe it can benefit them in their future. So, with all these analysis done, are you interested in MUN? If so, join us. That brings me to the end of our presentation. Thank you.